Good morning, Willowbrook. Today's devotional passage is Luke 1. Now, chapter 1 of Luke is longer than 7 entire books of the New Testament. With 80 verses, it's longer than the 4 shortest books put together. Luke tells us that he has carefully investigated everything from the beginning, and his sources are first eyewitnesses and then servants of the word. He's saying that he has thoroughly checked all accounts of the life of Jesus for accuracy and for truth, so that the recipient of this letter, Theophilus, and us, would have a written account that confirms the trustworthiness of what he has been taught about the Lord. Now, Dr. Luke authored 2 books, Luke and Acts. His traveling companion, Paul, was the author of 13 books of the New Testament. Luke's 2 books total about 7,000 more words than all 13 books written by Paul. So he's a very thorough writer. Let's quickly review the chapter. After giving his reasons for writing, we start with the story of Zacharias and Elizabeth. He is a Jewish priest serving in the temple when an angel appears to him. The angel tells him that he and his wife will have a son, and they will call him John. He will be a prophet of God, not just any prophet. He will be the prophet who prepares the way for the Messiah. Now, this was big because he and his wife were very old, and she has always been barren. Zacharias doubts the angel's words, and the angel is not pleased. He tells him, "I am Gabriel that stands in the presence of God, and I was sent to tell you this." Then he makes him mute until all that he has said comes true. Zacharias returns to his wife, and she conceives. 6 months later, Gabriel makes another appearance, this time to a virgin girl from Nazareth named Mary. He tells her she is favored by God, and she will give birth to a son. Mary asks, "How can this be?" Gabriel says the Spirit of God will come upon her and create a child, and he will fulfill the prophecy that God made to the Jews, and you shall name him Jesus. He will be called the Son of the Most High, and he will sit on the throne of David forever. His kingdom will have no end. He also tells her that her kin Elizabeth is with child, and that nothing is impossible with God. Then Mary responds, "I am the Lord's maidservant. May it be with me as you have said." Then the angel leaves, and Mary heads out to see Elizabeth. And when she gets there, Elizabeth is filled with the Spirit and blesses Mary. Then Mary is filled with the Spirit and prophesies about the work of John and Jesus. Verses 46 through 55 are referred to as Mary's song, or the Magnificat, the song of praise. Elizabeth gives birth, they name him John, and Zacharias has his voice restored just as the angel Gabriel had said. Now Zacharias, he hadn't said a word for 90 days, but as soon as he can speak, he has a lot to say. Verses 67 through 80 are Zacharias' song. The Jewish people have been waiting for the Messiah for hundreds of years. They expected him to free them from Roman oppression. But Zacharias tells them that the Messiah will give them knowledge of salvation through the forgiveness of their sins and everlasting life. And his son John will prepare the way. So what's Luke's message to Theophilus? I believe it's all about miracles and how not to talk to an angel. The important thing for Theophilus is to see the miraculous nature of these births. They are not humanly possible. This is the sovereign will and work of God. Elizabeth was old and barren. Mary was a virgin. He wants to make sure that he knows nothing is impossible for God. These are God's men, born for God's purpose. He also strongly shows that Jesus is far greater than John. Gabriel says of Jesus, he will be called the Son of the Most High. God will give him the throne of David, and his kingdom will never end. The other thing that he wants Theophilus to know, and also us, is there is a right way and a wrong way to respond to God. Zacharias, he doubted God. He asked, "How can this be? How can I be sure?" Mary just says how. So Gabriel explains it to her. Mary's answer is, "Behold the maidservant of the Lord. Let it be to me according to your word." Zacharias, he asked for more evidence. Mary says, "I don't understand, but I'm in." Zacharias, he gets rebuked and made mute. Mary, she's filled with the Spirit of God. Luke's message, be like Mary. Don't be like Zacharias. Open your heart and trust God. James 1:5 says, if any of you lacks wisdom, let him ask God, who gives without reproach, and it will be given to him. But ask in faith, without doubting. For he who doubts is like a wave tossed by the wind. Luke is saying, look, it's been proved over and over and over again. You can trust him. Have a great day, Willowbrook.